Hi everybody and welcome back to Twilight Princess HD. In the last episode we entered the final dungeon of the game, Hyrule Castle, but we only really explored the grounds around the outside of Hyrule Castle, including a secret back area with the graveyard in. But in today's episode we had a key and I already unlocked the door, but now we can finally head inside Hyrule Castle and these card rocks are going to get in my way apparently. Get out of here. I've just refilled all my hearts. You're not going to do one heart damage and make me lose my great spin right away. No. I know your tricks, Cargrock. Anyway, we are now in the interior, and we get this eerily echoing melody, which you will, of course, recognise as the Hyrule Castle theme from a lot of Zelda games, starting with, I think, Link to the Past did it first. Anyway, the Goblin Onslaught yet again. And this time we actually have the Great Spin. I managed to keep hold of it. And the Great Spin does a hell of a lot of damage to these guys. In fact, it makes it a bit of a cakewalk. Oh, I should have charged that up beforehand, but that was a bit sloppy, but never mind. There we go. All of them down with 3 Great Spins. And that lights up, I guess, the central hall of Hyrule Castle. A bunch of chandeliers hanging above. Bit of an eerily empty space, though. I think a lot of Hyrule Castle is quite empty. Like the rooms are too big for their own good, and I did use a blue potion in between episodes, so I went and bought another one. If you're wondering where that 50 rupees has gone. Now up on this ledge is the other main dungeon item for Hyrule Castle. I think we picked up the dungeon map in the last episode, which would make this the compass. I mean, that's pretty logical. Yep, there is the compass, and we can now see that there are a number of chests in this room, actually. If I have a quick gander at the map, zoom in, there are a few on the other ledges around the room. However, we can't get to any of them from this ledge. We have to go around. You can see there's a corridor that loops around the back there. So we have to follow along. And as you saw before, we can use our claw shot targets on these chandeliers underneath them, lower down. And this is how we get to the next door onwards. Can't quite reach that from there. Some of the light fixings are in the way. Well, they're not light fixings, they're like crystal things. Sorry, I don't know my terms for chandeliers. I don't happen to own many chandeliers, to be honest. And through here we have a Dark Nut and another energy force field. Just one Dark Nut on his own. And we've fought 3 at a time, so, you know, this is pretty simple work, honestly. Dark Nuts at this point in the game, since we fought so many of them, you should be used to how they function by now. I should have been able to get another hit on him there. But alas, I did not. Just wanted to knock his shield away. And there we go. He's down and launch his sword at us. And then we just take care of him this way. Hopefully I don't take any damage. I know he can like hit you as you try and roll around him with the back slice. So keep that in mind. Let's see if I can lure him away from the force field so I don't end up rolling into it or something. That should be enough space. Whoa. Oh, brute force. He just charged towards me and booted me, and that should be it. 2 back slices and then the combo that follows after. The back slice just forces him into like a flailing animation. Okay, here is a chest. So there are a few Dark Nuts around Hyrule Castle, but I feel like now might have been a good opportunity to bring back another mini-boss. We saw some Eralthos in the Cave Ordeals as well. And so the 2 mini-bosses that you use most frequently are Eralthos and Dark Nuts, but they haven't brought back Dark Hammer. I've completely forgotten what I'm doing in this room. Oh, no, I know what I'm doing. So there are 2 torches on that side of the room, and there's one on this side of the room, and each one of them is tied to one of these platforms, and you need to like light the correct ones and blow out ones that don't need to be lit. But what you can do is just stand where the step is going to rise and use your Gale Boomerang and just blow out that one single torch over there, and that will make the platform rise. Bit of a sneaky solution. I think this is 50 rupees, so that reimburses me for the blue potion. Yes, it does. But yeah, Dark Hammer. Pretty underutilised boss in my opinion. You only see him in Snow Peak Ruins. And I don't know why they gave special notice to Eralthos and Dark Nuts. Although Dark Nuts are a classic Zelda enemy, so I can sort of see why they did that there. And then we got other complex enemies like Dynalphos. And these are Helmdall's Alphos. But yeah, for some reason Dark Hammer has been neglected, and I feel like that's a bit of a shame. This seems like a good environment for Dark Hammer to thrive in. In like other Zelda games, I think particularly the ones top down like A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds. There in Hyrule Castle, there have been ball and chain soldiers, so I feel like Dark Hammer might have been a good replacement for that. Okay, so this room, you might be wondering what I need to do to proceed through this door. Yeah, I might have given you a bit of a hint by aiming on my bow and arrow at this one picture. But yes, you can cut down these things, if I can actually hit them right on, that'd be good. That's similar to the drawbridges in Gerudo. Why did I say Gerudo? Goron Mines. And behind each of these pictures is a crystal switch. Now, only one of these crystal switches is the correct one. If you shoot or hit any of the others, it will drop a bunch of chews from the ceiling. I'll just demonstrate, why not? I'm fine with that. But the correct one is the odd one out, which was the Hyrule Castle at sunset picture. It's like a little hint. But unfortunately, when you knock the pictures off the wall, the pictures land face down. So if you didn't catch a hint of what was on the picture, then you have to exit the room and re-enter in order to see the picture again. And then we head through here. Could go either way from the chest with the 50 rupees in. You can either go around to the left side or the right side. Doesn't actually matter, and in the long run I think we have to go both ways anyway. Okay, 2 dark nuts at the end of the corridor. Probably the most threatening thing in Hyrule Castle. But I'm going to take on one at a time. You can lure one over to you by just shooting him with an arrow. Did that work? Oh, I know, it's a bomb arrow actually. Hang on. Yeah. This'll do it. This'll get his attention. You know, I swear you could blow off bits of dark nut armour with the bow and arrow, the bomb arrows, but you know, it doesn't seem to be working this time. I'm sure I've done it before. Maybe you have to hit them from a certain angle, like if you try and attack them from the front, then they'll just block it with their shield and you don't hit their armour at all. And he's just slowly trudging his way over to us, which is fine because I don't want to deal with two at once. Do you see Link's stance just shift slightly there when he approached? Link just suddenly realised he was going to get into action here. Sort of flinched a little bit. Don't worry, Link. They're a piece of cake, once you know how. And a few more hits should do. We're going to do a horizontal swing, just back away. Basically, stay active and the sword, and then we can just do the backslice thing again. Bit of a narrower area this time. Narrower area. It's not easy to say. Oh, somehow I got a hit on him with the backslice there. That's unusual. And there we go. Oh, he took less hits than the other one, didn't he? Unless I hit him like a weird amount of times there, I don't know. I don't know how that worked. Okay, big guy, let's take care of another one. Oh, that actually hit me. You can sort of like shimmy back and forth to avoid that horizontal swing. And as long as you keep your shield up, you're golden really. Dark Nuts aren't too much of a threat on their own. It's only when they're in groups when they become slightly more annoying. And if there are 2 Dark Nuts in close proximity, chances are one of them's going to block the attack of the other one. So, yep, just deal with one of them at a time. And we are good! It's there. Oh, jeez. Gotta get out of here. So yeah, going back to Dark Hammer very quickly. Probably the most original mini-boss in this game. Although you do fight him in a very narrow corridor in his original battlefield, so I don't know whether he functioned perfectly well in Hyrule Castle, which is a bunch of open spaces. I think that would be quite interesting. Maybe you could fight him in this room instead of having that enemy onslaught. Oh, and then you can have like, because there were claw shot targets on the ceiling in the original Dark Hammer fight, you could use the chandeliers, hang from the chandeliers instead. You see? I've got loads of ideas for this game. So, step on this switch and that makes another chest appear. I think that's just more, I think that's actually a silver rupee for 200 rupees. I'll get over there in just a second. If we have a look at our map, we can see that we can go across the corridor that we just came from, and there's another door on the other side, and that leads us to like the outside section again, like on an upper bridge this time. But you can also get there from the other direction, and I'm just going to head back across, just so I can grab this chest as well. Hop on down. I need to do some claw shotting to get back up there. And lower down, so I'm not high enough. And most of the ball and chain soldiers in previous Zelda games, in Hyrule Castle at least, have set their ball and chain on fire, and that would be kind of neat little twist on the Dark Hammer fight, as if you suddenly had the fiery ball and chain, which did more damage. And yeah, Dark Hammer is kind of cool looking. And this is an invisible wall. Is it? Like, Really? Why? That looks like I can stand it. That looks like... what the hell? Well, whatever. That's weird geometry going on there. But let me get back to the room with the torches and the Gale Boomerang section. I set fire to the ball and chain. Watch it burn as it smashes into your face. There were way too many syllables for that to work. And now you can see why I don't write song lyrics. Alright, here we are back in the central room where we fought the Dark Nut before. And use the Gale Boomerang to get back up here, and this time let's go around to the left side. Or the right side if you're playing the non-mirror version, obviously. So in here we have a sort of dimly lit corridor, and there is another puzzle in this area involving torches, and guess what? There is another picture on the wall that we can shoot down, and that will reveal... well, you have to be quite precise there. That will reveal the solution to this puzzle. Kind of. I feel like this is a very vague solution, like it's obvious that you're supposed to light the torches in this pattern, but it doesn't indicate... well, there's a flame icon, but I don't know whether that indicates where we want to start or where we want to finish the pattern. Like, I feel like that's very unclear, and I don't feel like that's a very well indicated puzzle. And if you get the wrong solution, it summons a bunch of keys from above. Oh wait, did one of them just hit me, didn't it? Great. There goes my great spin. In fact, that'll come in handy in a different room. You know what, I might just use my fairy, because I kind of want to have the great spin for this next room. There's a bunch of Dynalphos and I want to show off that you can just kill them instantly with the great spin. It's kind of interesting. Let me use my fairy. I don't know whether I'll have any need for it later on. But the fairy is the least healing of the items I've currently got. Normally it only heals 8 hearts of damage, whereas the other 3 potions I've got right now all full heals. I've got Great Fairy's Tears, I've got Rare Chew Jelly, and I've got a blue potion. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any of them on just 1 heart damage. And I can't remember if there is another fairy in this dungeon, but if there is, I will pick it up. Also, what the hell is that in the way of the camera there? Oh, it's one of the suits of armour. Okay. So here we have 2 Dynalphos, and they approach, and then we just use a Great Spin, and they're both dead. There we go, easy enough. Now you can see why I wanted the Great Spin back. Just to show that off. And I think those are the only Dynalphos in Hyrule Castle, which they are strangely underutilised, considering you've seen so many Dark Nuts, and a few Helmed Lizalfos already. And upon hitting this switch, makes a chandelier fall. Now, the only use to that is getting back up to this location quicker. So yeah, there's no like chest from this ledge. We've already grabbed all the chests in the middle room, so let's head on out. Oh, going back to Dark Hammer very quickly, just because I just thought of something. So there are... I'm going to flip over to Breath of the Wild very quickly here for some reason. But yeah, I feel like in Breath of the Wild there are a few enemies missing that would have been interesting to see. Dark Knight in particular is a Zelda staple, but he's just not in the game for some reason. So I did do a few sketches of what I think the enemies might have looked like. So, oh, here we have another Eralphos, so let me quickly deal with them. I'm just going to quickly put my sketches up on screen, just so... They're sort of wearing like Guardian armour, which is... I thought might have been a neat idea. And you can get their like unique Guardian-based weapons. Oh, that's the wrong button! And I did a jump attack for some reason. I thought my claw shots were equipped to the X button for some reason. Let's see if I can provoke you into putting up your shield. Oh, maybe we can. I don't know. Oh, the Great Spin didn't do too much there. Helm Splitter, let's not jump over the wall. I don't even think you can jump over the wall. There we go. Whoa, wait, what? He did his death cry then, didn't he? Huh. That was weird. Yeah, hopefully the images I put up on screen didn't like interrupt the flow or anything. But yeah, I just thought it would have been interesting to see them in Breath of the Wild style. And defeating that Eralphos gets rid of the force field. The only Eralphos in Hyrule Castle. And this is another small key, in fact. So yeah, seems like we picked up a spare key somewhere along the line. And we do only need 2 keys in order to get to the boss door. Oh, we do also need the big key. So let's on up here, and the way to go forward is to go through this another locked door, and that is the final locked door of Hyrule Castle. But first of all, we need to go and grab the big key, which is on the other tower. Now, this one, a little bit strange, honestly. There's the big key. There's the boss chest. Oh no! A swarm of enemies and archers on the tower. This is going to be an interesting scenario that I can deal with. Well then, I don't get to do anything. Thanks. So here we have this motley crew, the 4 guys that help us get through the last 4 dungeons that we did. Well, actually, no, they didn't help us get through the Paths of Twilight. But yes, they just suddenly appear and help us deal with enemies, sort of take away some of our fight time for some reason. I guess to speed up the process of the dungeon a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I do feel like that is incredibly shoehorned in to make it seem like they are important characters, when really they have not done very much at all. Except from, like, Shad, I guess. And maybe Russell. Russell was there at the beginning of the game. But yep, they just randomly decide to show up now in Hyrule Castle. There was the big key we just picked up, by the way. So yeah, that's a bit of a strange thing as well, just out of nowhere. Same with Midna's transformation, honestly. Using it to break through the barrier of Hyrule Castle, that just seemed to come out of nowhere. But yep, those guys just come back for one time only. Honestly, it feels quite rushed, I must say. So, this is the higher up floors of Hyrule Castle, and you might notice already that the music has changed. It's a bit more ominous. We're now approaching the top. We're walking a bit sluggishly, so let's turn on our senses, because there are a few cool rats around here. And that's an indicator that we need to turn on senses, because in this room there are more soldier spirits. Now here's a little interesting puzzle if you're not using your senses, I guess, is that there is only one route across this room. If you step on any of the blocks that these guys aren't pointing towards, then they'll just drop down and you'll fall into the abyss below. So yeah, just follow their pointing directions, and you'll make it across to the other side of the room just fine. I feel like this might have been a wasted opportunity to give us a bigger section like that. And that's probably the last time we're going to use Wolf Link in this dungeon, so yep, let's say goodbye for now. Although he will come back, I do believe, a little bit later on. So we just come up these staircases, and we've got another enemy ambush, but it's just 2 Lizalfos, you know. God, this dungeon is not very challenging whatsoever, which I feel is very disappointing for a final dungeon in the game. I don't even know if I should treat it as a dungeon, really, because it's quite short. Aside from like the Dark Nuts, I guess, which we've fought so many of them, they have become a bit of a cakewalk at this point. But yeah, most of the enemies they throw at us here, like they've thrown 2 Lizalfos at us, and now they're throwing 2 masked Lizalfos at us, and I couldn't do a quick spin for some reason. Well, whatever, that's fine. I'm going to heal up in between episodes anyway. And 2 Helm Lizalfos. And now we're using the spinner again for some reason, I don't know why. But there we go, that's one little puzzle out the way, and up ahead is a final Dark Nut. Bit of a different design Dark Nut, this one sort of like a bronzy colour, although I don't think that indicates how difficult he is, because he doesn't seem to do much differently than the other Dark Nuts. He might do a bit more damage to you, but honestly, I don't really notice, because you can just avoid any hits just by holding your shield up. Bit easy for the final dungeon. That's just, in a nutshell, the point I was trying to make here. Kind of disappointing. And one more round of this swinging sword thing. Oh god, he actually hit me there. Huh. Don't know if he's got like a bigger weapon or something that pushed me away further. I mean, that'd be kind of interesting to see, the mix-up. But underneath, all the Dark Nuts are the same. They all have this second phase sort of thing. But yep, just nothing particularly interesting. Also, what are you backing into? They got a weird walking animation, I must admit. Sort of like partially strafing, but not really. It's weird. Sort of like gradually shimmying their way towards you. And this will be our final Dark Nut, so say goodbye. There we go. He's down. doesn't even take any more hits than the regular Dark Knight. I don't know why they made a big deal of him having different armour. And then you've also got the Dark Knights in the Cave Wall deals, who had red and blue armour, but they weren't any different either. So it's a bit strange that they just give them different armour designs. But I digress. Here is the boss door. But we still have a small key, which happens to go into this locked door here. Let's have a look at our map very quickly. And I don't know if that's obvious to see, but there are an abundance of chests in this next room. So, that's that small key, actually optional. The only dungeon in the game like it. There are 3 small keys in this dungeon, but only 2 of them are required. I think that's quite a nice touch, honestly. That's one thing I do like about the final dungeon, is that there is one optional room full of varying rewards. Should I go for the small chest first? Nah, the only prize we're after really is in the big chests. And we get a lot of rupees. Unfortunately, I can't hold them anymore. In fact, I just squandered 100 rupees, so... You know what I think I'll do is... hang on a minute, let me open this next chest very quickly. Because this is an important item, I do believe. Yep, it is the Happy Zelda stamp, which brings us up to 49 out of 50. Does it now? Well, I'm going to have to censor that a bit. You collected 49 stamps, congratulations. Here's your reward, a special stamp. So, yeah. For collecting 49 stamps, it automatically gives us the 50th one. I do feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. Once again, that's kind of disappointing. They could have hidden that 50th stamp anywhere. But no, they just hand it to you on a silver platter. I wasn't even expecting a reward for getting all the stamps, but for some reason the game seems to treat another stamp as a reward for getting all the stamps. So yeah, now we have all 50 stamps, kind of disappointingly easy getting that last one. I'm going to have to censor it because it's a bit of a spoiler, although having said that, if you've got the game and you've looked at the box art, it shouldn't be too much of a spoiler. But yep, there is our 50th stamp, and I saved the game there just so I can show off what's in these chests. It's just a lot of rupees, including another 200, which I don't really want to squander in case I need these rupees for later. I probably won't, but... and random bomblings, okay, whatever. These chest contents are very random. In fact, that stamp chest, if I've not already put it up on screen, in the original versions, have a guess what that contained. Because it's a bit of a weird thing. It contained pumpkin seeds, otherwise known as slingshot ammo. But they've been moved to this chest in this version. Bit odd that they did that in the original version, just a big chest containing slingshot seeds for a weapon that we have not used since the beginning of the game. It became obsolete once we got the bow and arrow. So yeah, very, very strange seeds there. What do you mean you forgot about the slingshot? I mean, I've been using it all this time. How dare you forget such an important item? God. And random bombs and just various amounts of rupees. So, yep, that's all that's in this area. Just a few extra rewards for getting that last key. And I feel like the spare key you're supposed to find is the one in the graveyard at the back, because that's probably the most well hidden key in the dungeon. And let me just go on a destruction rampage. And I don't know what this room would have been in Hyrule Castle. It's like random storage room right next to the door to the top. But that is the entirety of Hyrule Castle. Kind of short, kind of easy, kind of disappointing, but at the same time, we have made it to the boss door for the final boss. Link, would you break that skull, please? Thank you. So, I will see you in the next episode for the finale of Twilight Princess HD. Bye for now.